How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Roll On Gaming. My name is Kevin, and as always, I am joined by my brother and my co-host Corwin. And Corwin, we've got another exciting one for y'all today.
We sure do. Excited to talk about some new cards here.
Yeah, we were privileged and blessed and fortunate enough to be given two brand new cards from Secrets of Power to reveal to all of you today. So thank you to Jack Xander and the whole FFG team for trusting us with these, for letting us reveal some cards for this set. It's obviously one of the most fun times of the year, spoiler season for a new set, and we're just so stoked to be a part of it. So we won't keep you waiting, but if you enjoy what we do and enjoy what we say at any level, if you want to drop a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new, that helps us out a ton. And comment down below your thoughts on the cards you are about to see and how they fit in to the new Secrets of Power environment that is shaping up before our very eyes, Corwin, because we're seeing a lot of really cool cards, and hopefully these two will be two more of them.
Yeah, I think we can probably say that's true
They will
to some level.
they will in fact be cards, and it's up to the player base to determine what kind of cards they will be. So let's get right into it. We're going to start. We got a unit and an event, so we're going to start with the unit, and we'll see what we get. I have been posting a couple different little hints and teasers on our X account before this video drops. So go back and see if you would have guessed it if you'd known that, or if you aren't following us on X at Roll on SWD. A shout out to our old Destiny days there. So without further ado, here is the first Secrets of Power exclusive reveal that we are bringing to you. This is the Rotunda Senate Guards. This is a Vigilance ground unit of 4 cost, and you're getting a 4/5 Republic Trooper. And while this unit is undamaged, it gains Sentinel. Now, this is obviously very familiar to a Spark of Rebellion card that was a Heroism Vigilance card uh, that saw ish amount of play. But Corwin, first glance, what do you think of the Rotunda Senate Guards? This one is not a 5/5/6. This is a 4/4/5. Not a Rebel, obviously, but Republic, and you still have the Trooper tag. Where are you landing with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I like the body on it with the 5 health for 4. Never gonna complain about that. And the 4 attack is decent too. I think the maybe the issue here is just that we just got a 4 cost neutral blue sentinel that is seeing universal play, and that's probably still better than this card in Cheered Imwe. So I think that's kind of my problem is if you're looking for a sentinel at this price point, you've already got a really good one if you're in a force deck. But if folks are trying to mix it up, maybe do something outside of the force. Um, at least when he first enters play undamaged, he's going to turn on that sentinel effect for you. So don't hate this card. Again, like the stats on it, but it's just probably falling short of some other sentinel options at its price point.
Yeah, I think as we've seen in Star Wars Unlimited to this point, when you've got conditional Sentinels, those tend to struggle a little bit more to see play because you're not always meeting the conditions, right? Now, the thing that I think Rotunda Senate Guards, like some of its predecessors, has going for it is the fact that it's in Vigilance. And Vigilance likes to do what? Give shields. So there are plenty of cards in the Vigilance environment that can help you keep this card undamaged and therefore getting Sentinel. Now, again, if you're adding cards or adding combo pieces to build around a Rotunda Senate Guards, we can sort of stipulate as to what other problems you might be having in terms of finding the best cards possible for your deck. But as you remember, we have to start looking at these cards in the scope of the fact that rotation is going to happen. And yes, Chirrut Imwe is not a conditional Sentinel. It's still a Sentinel no matter if you have the Force or not, but obviously made better with the Force. But maybe you're not playing a Force deck. Maybe there's other Sentinels that you want to find a way to have, especially at this cost. So maybe if you're in villainy, maybe this makes Lom Pike that much more attractive, at least for the next few months until Lom Pike rotates, right? Maybe a newer card if you're in heroism. Maybe this is a card that lets Calm in the Storm Sea play, where you're giving it a shield and some experience. Even though you're exhausting it, you still have a pretty beefy Sentinel on board. So there might be some of those combo pieces that could make this really annoying for your opponent to deal with, but I think this is probably just going to be a better limited card than it is a premier card. Just because dropping a one use sentinel in limited is something that, even though you're only basically getting it once, it's going to be pretty effective.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's all true, and I think it again, it's tough to view this in light of its competition, just because even going back to all the way to set one, you had a couple of units in there in Vigilance that had this sort of conditional sentinel as well. The Vigilant Honor Guards, and I think Baze too was set one, wasn't he? And he was only sentinel if you had initiative.
Yep.
So where those cards fall short of this one to me is the four attack. I do think that that can be relevant just because of the amount of four health units that have kind of permeated the meta this set. Whether that still is true in set six remains to be seen, but given that four health has sort of come back as like a kind of a critical breaking point, I do like the Senate guards for that reason. Hitting back for four when you're a sentinel undamaged is relevant, and so that gives it a little bit of an edge for me, but probably not enough to push it over the top of some of these other options.
Yeah, that is a very valid point in the sense that this power, it's hitting harder than Cheer It. So that's something that you want to consider as you're building your deck. Maybe there's some Republic synergy that you're looking to find, and maybe that helps this push it over the edge just a little bit. So let's move on from the Rotunda Senate Guards to our second and final reveal. And this it will make some High Republic fans very happy. This is, of course, the Hyperspace Disaster. This is a 7-cost rare event in Vigilance. And very simple text: defeat all space units. Now, this is automatically a sideboard card, right? So we can just throw that in. But how effective is this going to be potentially main deck in Premier?
Well, first of all, as someone who's been playing a ton of Poe Dameron Leader recently to great success, I hate to see this card. Makes me a very sad boy. But I do think that yeah, it's definitely a sideboard option at minimum, and maybe even some of those hard control decks are going to want a main deck at least one of this.
Yep.
It's neutral, which is nice. Heroes get to use it too, right? 7 cost is one less than some of the other board wipes we have. Obviously, space is a lesser used arena, but can definitely be very timely and critical at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this card definitely has a place potentially in certain decks. I don't see it being universally played in blue, but I do think that it has some niche applications across various control archetypes.
Yeah, worth noting, this is our first arena specific board wipe that we've seen in Star Wars Unlimited, right? You've got, Super Laser Blast and Nebula Ignition hit every arena, and then you have the cards that hit specific arenas but don't wipe the board, they just do damage, like Bombing Run, which we know is rotating out and things of that nature. So with this card, you can target one arena and just wipe everything, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Especially if you're a ground deck playing against a space deck, you can pay the 7 and then obviously affect all your opponent's units but not your own, and which is pretty good. But yeah, this this card is a pretty hard counter to things like Poe, to things like Vader, to things like Luke, Pilot Luke, Kazuda potentially. There's definitely some elements of Boba from Jump to Lightspeed that get really, really hard countered by this. So this is going to be one that'll probably be a pretty popular sideboard card, at least early. Um, the art's fantastic, which is nice. I like the fact that, like you said, this is a neutral card and not a heroism or villainy card. We're not seeing. I don't have to hear more complaints about villainy getting all the board wipes, so that's good. But I think this one will have some utility for sure, because if space decks ever get too prevalent or too oppressive, drop a couple hyperspace disasters in your deck and you'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah. Again, at least out of the sideboard. What's interesting about that point you made about this being the first like arena specific board wipe we've had, if this said defeat all ground units instead of space units, it would be played everywhere in blue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It would be just like a universal automatic include, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm I'm not sure if we'll ever see a card like that. It's definitely not costed at 7,
No.
I would guess. But you know, again, with space being a little bit underutilized in comparison, you know, it makes sense. I think the cost makes sense, and I think that, you know, now if you're a pilot deck and listen, you talked about rotation, like depending on what we see come out of this set and number 7, pilots could very much still have their handprint on the meta
Oh yeah.
once rotation hits, and I don't think we can discount that. And so cards like this, I think, will be key to help keeping those decks in check.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing, but confiscate, aggression, all those things go the way of the dodo bird. So it'll be nice to have this in the back pocket when things like that happen, and when all of a sudden Wedge is taking over the meta, which some people will be happier to see than others. But yeah, those are our cards. Those are our exclusive reveals. Again, thank you so much to Jack and the entire team at Fantasy Flight for letting us reveal those. Another special thank you to the Fantasy Flight team. We did get an advanced copy of Intro Battle Hoth that I'm very excited about. So we're look out for some content on that as we get closer to release, which is coming up, I believe, next week at the time of this recording. So stay tuned here as we get set for Intro Battle Hoth to come to hit the shelves. I think this is our first actual like standalone big box product that we're getting in Star Wars Unlimited. Although I did manage to get my hands on a couple big box store single packs at Barnes and Noble the other day, which was exciting. It was the first time I'd seen those out in the wild. So that
Oh
was,
man, how did
yeah.
that go?
Well, there was a Grand Inquisitor in one of the packs, so I couldn't really complain. The
Great.
the legendary Grand Inquisitor, not the Spark of Rebellion leader. So, uh, but that again, that does it for us. Nice and short. Get to theory crafting with some of this stuff, and let us know your thoughts on these cards in the comments down below. Really appreciate the opportunity to reveal these. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much.